Hey, what is good? What is good? What is good, beautiful people? Of course, you know who I is, the good doc, Dr. Mike, back again, once again, with another tragic and unfortunate story, ladies and gentlemen. I've always been an advocate of being careful and being wary of your surroundings when in the Philippines. Sometimes you can't be too comfortable, and this is just another story to keep you guys well informed. But if this is your first time to a Dr. Mike TV channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, caress and molest that like button. You know what the game does, all right? All of the things you need to know about the good doc listed in the link in the description area below. Fox News recently reported that a British man and his wife they were abducted in their home in the Philippines, all right? Let me go ahead and read this story for you. I will link it in the description area so you guys can read it on your own, but literally what I'm going to read to you is going to be verbatim from the article, okay? So it says a 70-year-old British guy and his Filipino wife were abducted by at least 4 gunmen from their beach resort home in the Philippines last Friday. The police will tell you that. It says the suspects, who were armed with pistols, took Alan, I want to say it's Hirons, don't get me wrong, and his wife Wilma from a hut in their resort at nightfall and dragged them into 2 motorboats in Tucaran. I want to say that's Tucaran. I'm not sure. In the province of Zamboanga del Sur. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard me talk about Zamboanga all the time. You have all the people be like, nah, man, Zamboanga's cool, Zamboanga's cool. But when the locals tell me that Zamboanga is not the place that I want to go for me, I'm going to go ahead and take the locals at their word. Now, if I hear it from a foreigner, sometimes you might be like, man, sometimes the foreigners just want to keep that place to themselves, so I'm going to go check it out. I'm not that stupid. I've heard things about Zamboanga from the locals, and they're like, you know, some places are cool, but not every area is okay. And this just goes to show you that they're kidnapping British folk and their Filipino wives and taking them captive, okay? It says that several young men in a nearby bar witnessed the abduction. So some people saw it. they ain't do shit about it though. Just gonna throw that out there. They say 2 of the suspects had checked into the coastal resort a day before the abduction. Alan, who had dual citizenship and lived in the province since 2013, reportedly owned several businesses with his wife, including 2 schools and the resort. Okay, listen. This is where things get a little bit shifty for me, because I'm all about a foreigner and his success in the Philippines. If you can make it happen for you, make it happen, Captain. But I'm very skeptical about people knowing your successes in the Philippines. So if people know you own resorts, own schools and stuff, that makes you a very, very, very valuable target. You understand? It has nothing to do with race, but what you can bring to the table. There's a lot of I've heard Korean guys getting kidnapped and stuff in the Philippines as well because they have flourishing businesses. So being a foreigner in the Philippines with a business that is flourishing definitely might make some people feel a certain kind of way, or they definitely it might put you in a position to be vulnerable towards things like this. That's why you see high-ranking officials. That's why you see these very successful businessmen, whether they be local or not, they have security. You always wonder why certain people walk around with a lot of security, because of the potential of being abducted in the Philippines. And as a foreigner, that just puts you in a high category for that potentially happening. So he's been in there since 2013 and owned several businesses with his wife, including 2 schools and a resort. He was a target from the beginning. I'm just surprised they waited until 2013. Until they waited like 6 years later to actually attempt to go get him. No disrespect, but damn, they must have probably been planning this for a long time. All right, so the story goes on. It says no group has claimed responsibility for the latest abduction in the South, where kidnapping for ransom by Muslim militants and other armed groups have long been a security concern and have discouraged tourism, trade, and investment. There you go. Yeah, there's not a lot of that going on. So for him to flourish in that area, I have nothing but the utmost respect for that. Not gonna lie, when you're willing to take a chance to go into these areas where nobody else is going, you're definitely likely to succeed, because again, nobody is willing to invest in that area. If you got money and you're bringing it to the table and bringing it to that area, you have the ceiling is, sky's the limit, man. You got the glass ceiling. I mean, you can go as high as you want to go. All right. But again, it comes with risks, as you can see. Military offenses against ransom-seeking militant groups such as the abducted, if I'm saying that right, I'm sorry, have reduced abductions in recent years, but they have continued to take place. So there hasn't been as many abductions, but there's still been some. Investigators said they also were trying to verify the reported abduction of 3 Indonesian fishermen last week off Malaysia's Sabah state of northern Borneo, near the sea border with the southern Philippines, where the Abu Sayyaf gunmen have staged kidnappings in the past. And that's the article, ma'am. Now, I must conclude with this, okay? I must conclude with this because, again, this is an American news outlet, Fox News. This is where this particular story is coming from. So, to an extent, you take what is being said. It seems like everything is straightforward, straight to the point. There's nothing embellished about the story, but sometimes when it comes to medias outside of the Philippines, you take some of what they say with a grain of salt, but when you read the story, it does seem highly probable, and it does seem to reiterate the feelings and concerns that your average foreigner has about traveling to a place like, Zamboanga del Sur and other parts of these Muslim dominated areas in the South, in the Mindanao region. So it doesn't seem like the story is too far-fetched at all. What it does seem is that foreigners, we got to be careful, man. And I'm not one to believe that this guy was showing up and showing out. He seemed like he was a modest guy. Don't get me wrong. I don't know this man from nothing, but it doesn't look as if he's dressed to, basically show out. But you just have to be careful, guys. There's nothing else I could say. If there's anything that we can learn from this story, gentlemen, you have got to be careful. A lot of guys would be like, man, don't worry about doing businesses in the Philippines. You could be successful. You could not be. You could be taken advantage of. Blah, say, blah, whoop de doo. I understand it. But with great success comes great responsibility. And from that particular quote and statement, I will say this. There's a lot of headache that goes along with it as well. You can't be successful and have people not envy your success. People can't see you doing it up and living it up and doing it big and not have some resentment or jealousy towards you. Filipinos, for some time, they love foreigners, no different than, most people, out of respect, but there are some people that don't like you around. And unfortunately, when it comes to being successful in businesses or doing things that the locals feel that it should stay in-house and that the locals should be taken care of, you never know how people are going to react or respond. You understand? You never know what kind of reaction or response you're going to get. All right? So keeping that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I understand why some people are advocates against having businesses in the Philippines, but if you are able to put in the work and you are able to dedicate yourself and invest in areas where you don't see a lot of people investing, where the sky's the limit for you as a foreigner to make some serious bank, such as these individuals did. And his wife was Filipina. Let's be real. Let's not forget about that. So, she could put her name on everything. It's a shame, man. It's a shame that this had to happen. I pray to God they come back safe, but I can't guarantee none of that. I can't. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Good Doc, Dr. Mike TV, just reporting some very, very unfortunate news. I wish them the best. I wish them safety, and I pray for their safety. But I'm not sure how this one's going to end. All right, ladies and gentlemen, has been fun. It has been real, but the Good Doc is officially out. At least nako. Paalam, which means I'm going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Mahal kita. Mabuhay. Peace.